Good evening, all.
Good evening.
Tonight I will continue on the last week's topic. Why do we need Protect? And we will be relating it to our Procell, which is the plant-based stem cell therapy. I believe that these two products, the Procell and the Protect, are the most powerful products engineered for restoration, renewal, and protection or preservation of the stem cell effects in our body system. So last week we were able to enumerate why we needed a Protect. I remembered highlighting the fact that all the whole product we have in this our network starts with PRO, pro. In Latin word, pro, without a dash, attached to the cell or to the Protect is actually an indication of something that is very professional. And I want to repeat that any product that is professional, that have been brought to a level of perfection, on a professional level, needs professional understanding of those who are going to market that product so they can deliver prophetic conviction, professional conviction that will make the people take the product very consciously. The major problem we have, especially in our African context today, with regards to health and nutrition, or what we may call natural medicine, is that 90% of every one of us don't consume our natural products consciously. We consume them unconsciously. We only depend on what is it that this remedy is going to achieve. If you are suffering from headache, it will stop your headache. You now take it straight, expecting the headache to stop, and that's it. And that is a very wrong way of consuming any medication or remedies. The more conscious you are, the more you are connected to that particular remedy. And when you are taking something consciously, the absorption of it, the assimilation of the remedy, and the efficacy of the remedy becomes very, very more effective. And then you can end up having what we call bioneurochemical reaction in your brain. What does that mean? Because you are very conscious of that thing you have consumed, you are conscious of why you must take the Procell, you are conscious of the content of the Protect to some level, and you understand what the Protect is doing in your body, the role. You will discover that the subconscious mind, which is the archives of memories, things that have happened, can automatically archive or record your consciousness about that particular remedy, that after taking the remedy, by this time next year, at that particular time you develop the consciousness towards that product, the brain will act as though you are still taking those remedies, even when you're not taking it. That is something so powerful about natural remedies. Because they are natural, the memory, the stem cell memory tends to coordinate or get itself archived in your consciousness if you are conscious of it. So consciousness is the most important aspect of marketing, because if you have the consciousness, you have heard about the product, you understand the product, you have assimilated, you have proper assimilation of the information about the product, then you are a conscious consumer of that product. Having said that, the word Protect implies this is a bank of nutrients that helps that helps the stem cell to function. I put it this way: the Protect is prepared to do a work that is more advanced compared with other applications of stem cells. And most of the nutrients that you find in our ProCell plant-based stem cell, there are 9 active ingredients. These 9 active ingredients from where the ProCell plant-based stem cell were derived are only 9 active ingredients. Because the intellectual property is not meant to be exposed to the public or to be placed on a public domain. What that implies is there are also some trace elements. There are also some non-active ingredients that are engineered into our ProCell, which eventually we are using as our stem, as a plant-based stem cell. And these 9 active ingredients includes apple stem cells, grape seed extract, ellagen, acai berry extract, beetroot extract, raspberry extract, pomegranate, Nigella sativa, that is black seed extract, and then stevia. In all other, in all other products that stem cell products will have in the market, majority of them, they use what we call glucose. But in our product, what we use is stevia. Somebody who has gotten, let me say, diabetes will receive more assimilation and more trouble-free rejuvenation of the isolines of Langerhans or pancreas using ProCell than using, because ProCell contains stevia. Stevia is a very bitter, sugar-like plant extract. When you put it in the mouth, it looks as though it's sugary, but as soon as it mixes with saliva and gets inside your system, it's very, very bitter. You can taste it even in a ProCell. By the time you drop it in your mouth, under the tongue, assuming you are using 1 sachet, you will, if you are very sensitive and if you are conscious, you will notice a little sweet bitter taste. That is the stevia. Now, these 9 active ingredients only gave birth through extraction of the ProCell stem cell. Then why do we need Protect? The basic secret reason I'm giving for stage 2 of the previous lecture is there are 3 powerful things that is constant in nature and in life. One is birth, you must be born. 2 is aging, and 3 is death. When the stem cell is introduced into the bone marrow, under the tongue, it goes straight into the bone marrow. The bone marrow now produces, in response, undifferentiated stem cells. Mark the word undifferentiated stem cells. Now, the undifferentiated stem cells will now penetrate the cells of your tissue, and from the tissues to your organ and to your system. And these plant stem cells that activated this work gave back to undifferentiated stem cells. I need to emphasize on this because this is an area where a lot of people don't understand where we are heading to. We have 2 kinds of stem cells in the body. The undifferentiated stem cells that have been produced from the bone marrow majorly, that have not been identified with any cells of your human body or any organ of your body. Circulating daily throughout the body of every person of every age are millions of new cells produced and released primarily from the bone marrow, known as stem cell. This production of continuous production and continuous flow of these undifferentiated cells from the bone marrow is different from the adult stem cells. The essence of engineering the procell, which is a plant-based stem cell, is to activate an action that will make your bone marrow to produce a lot of undifferentiated stem cells. These undifferentiated stem cells, the target is for it to repair, rejuvenate, and renew a particular tissue or a cell or an organ. And immediately it identifies with that organ, it becomes adult stem cell. That should be clear. If the undifferentiated stem cells has not reacted, has not taken execution of repairing or rejuvenating or renewing a particular cell that is in a tissue that belongs to a particular organ and remains permanently the stem cell of that organ, the purpose of ingesting stem cell is not yet accomplished. That brings us to why do we need Protect? 2 out of the 3 happenings or 3 laws that oppress on every living thing is the major reason. What is the reason? Aging is associated with the loss of adult stem cells. Let me use a simpler word. This last week we were blowing too much grammar. I think, okay, but there's no way we can break it down further. Let me analyze the stem cells of the brain, or what we may call the neurological system of your head, your brain. The adult stem cells of the brain is different from the adult stem cell of the liver. It's different from the adult stem cells of the kidney. It's different from the adult stem cells of the reproductive organ. It's different from the adult stem cells of the bone or skeletal system. The undifferentiated stem cells were activated from our procell. We threw it like a nuclear reaction in the bone marrow. The bone marrow now starts multiplication, creating a lot of undifferentiated stem cells. And now, because every cell of the body, including the activated stem cells, including the undifferentiated stem cells, they are responding to the brain. So the brain will give signal for them to flow to the area that needs either rejuvenation or repair. So when these stem cells have now flown to different organs to do repair, or like those of us who are not sick per se, but we are getting old, you are getting old because the cells, your adult stem cells are aging. When the adult stem cells of the general body is aging, automatically the tissues will start aging because it is the cells that makes up the tissue. When your tissues are aging, then the organs of your body will start aging. And if you allow the progression of the aging, your outlook will change. Your whole system will start aging. Now, the company has given us a package that is 1,000 years ahead or further ahead of other stem cells. There is a stem cell that they normally call double stem cell. They attempted moving from ordinary stem cell to a double stem cell. What is it that they were trying to do? They wanted actually to take not the stem cells of the product that is in their product, in their stem cell. They tried to some other nutrients in combination with a stem cell. Every nutrient that will help or enhance the performance of the stem cell. And in doing so, common sense, it shows that the quantity of the stem cell in a double stem cell would be enough. So our company, having mastered all these intricacies about cellular engineering, they now decided to give us a product that will conquer the impairing of the function of the stem cells. What do I mean by that? When the stem cells of the heart, the adult stem cells of the heart, are now aging, or there is a damage to any of the stem cells of the heart, you take your Procell. By the time you ingest it, it's directly absorbed and hits the bone marrow. The bone marrow starts producing a lot of undifferentiated stem cells. The sensitivity of the cells in itself will now pilot it straight to go to the heart. By the time it gets, the undifferentiated stem cells get to the heart, you will discover some of the heart, it could be the cells in the auricle or the ventricle or the whole cardiovascular system. The repair process will start. Each of the cells, some of them that are adult stem cells are already getting tired. Some of the cells have even partially died. That's what they call impairing. So the adult stem cells that were already in your heart needed to be repaired to make them younger. It could be component in the blood of an older person. Immediately it interacts with the undifferentiated stem cells. They will start immediately penetrating those weak cells, cardiovascular cells, or neurological cells. Neuro means the brain. Now, and start repairing them. Some of the cells in the heart also may be very intact. They will now give it vigor. So the Protect rescues aging stem cells, aging adult stem cells in our body. And that is how these products, our product is breaking a very powerful law in the field of medicine. In the field of medicine, whether allopathic medicine, natural medicine, psychological healing, or any manner of healing, even spiritual healing, you cannot give a remedy, you cannot give a cure to something you don't know. Even you can offer prayer, healing prayer, for a person who is ignorant of what he's suffering from. The essence of the principles of laboratory analysis, quantum analysis, and different kinds of analysis is to give a diagnosis, to be able to know what is the cause. Because when you don't know the cause, you either pretend to take action, blind medical action, like what our allopathic doctors are doing towards 90% of the gynecological issues. When we talk about gynecology, we're talking about women. The issue of fibroid. They don't, up to now I'm talking to you, understand what is the cause of myoma, fibroid disease. Then hence they don't know the cause. What do? Let's cut it off. And by the time they cut off the fibroid, if they are multiple, they will try to cut it off. After some time, the fibroid will occur again. It will grow. Why? The source, the cause has not been addressed. It just go into a tree, then you cut it off from the stem. The tree stem cells will multiply and they will grow back. But if you use caterpillars and then go to the root and uproot it from the root, you won't see any burden of that kind of tree in that environment, because that's the right thing you're doing. So our Protect and our Procell, with proper application, you break that law. You can administer these remedies consciously, and these remedies will go and do natural action, a creative action. But when the stem cell now has gone into these cells, because we're going to take this thing one after the other. When, let's say now that these particular cells have gone into the cells of the heart, they are doing three things, major three things. One is rejuvenation of those cells, cell to cell, impact to impact, replication of the whole cell. Each cell has gotten its own activity, up to 9 activities in a cell that goes on. Now, when this rejuvenation is taking place, to rejuvenate is to make something old young. The other cells that have totally damaged, the adult stem cell you have in that heart that have totally damaged, will need to undergo repair. The adult cells in that heart too, that has become very, very, very weak, the stem cell needs to give it vigor, give it strength to become strong. When this has happened, those undifferentiated stem cells end up becoming adult stem cells of the heart. Hence, there are powerful secret laws in nature. The expectation is that these undifferentiated stem cells that have broken the law of analysis, the law of cause and effect, are now part and parcel of the heart. They have changed whatever is wrong, whether it is agenia, whether it is a lack of functioning of the muscles of the heart. I'm trying to use language that will make it easy for us to understand. Now, two things are expected to still occur. One, this adult stem cell we have sent from our procell via the bone marrow that has now become a new cell that have renewed the heart, and the man suffering from the cardiovascular problem is now healed, is no longer going to move out from that heart. It can't move from the heart to go to the liver. It's now there to now project and the healing. This adult stem cell now, one day will be aging. And this adult stem cell of the heart that we have renewed with our undifferentiated stem cells as a result of interaction from our procell will one day die. Death don't start from the nostrils. Death starts from the cellular level. Aging starts from the cellular level. I hope it's becoming more sweet and more simpler. Now, our company now say, look, the stem cell of the heart of an old man of 90 years who is in the process of aging may lose its vigor. That adult stem cell may lose its power. How? If the person is not eating the things, the necessary nutrients that will help the adult stem cell to function very, very well. Then they now come up and say, look, we don't just want to do an instant work of renewing the stem cells, making it adult stem cell, that is repairing a deadly heart or a convulsing heart or a contraction like, or a heart that have lost its elasticity. We cannot just repair it and allow it like that. We need to now bring in nutrients that will now boost the work of the adult stem cells, give an environment that will fight against oxidation processes, and that is what we call antioxidants. They will also make available nutrients that are also engineered, like stem cells, to quickly infuse strength, protection over the heart of this man. So that this man, after taking stem cell, will carry a newborn, a new repaired heart that will be protected to stay as long as that individual's lifespan can carry. So our Protect is a nutrient-rich diet composed of mixtures of different fruits and vegetables that are plant-based, organically prepared, and organically engineered. And I told you last time, there are essential things that must accompany this product. You know, at times, people will expect, or the government at times do place a demand on producers of products to quickly declare what are the contents. And most of the time, because there's no monopoly of knowledge, most of the times, the things they declare are not everything in that product because the intellectual property belongs to them. Of course, if they declare everything in that particular product, I will give you only 1 week, I'll come up with my own product. And by so doing, they have lost the marketing strategy, the monopoly, the ownership of the product. So most of the time, what they release to us are basic things we can understand. If we move into the body system, no repair of any organ, no renewal of any organ or any tissue or any cell, no repair, renewal, or rejuvenation of any cell of the body can take place under acidic medium. Acidity, cellular acidity, is the greatest danger that humanity places on themselves as a result of civilization and urbanization. So, the Protect is now presented to us to create an alkaline medium. I remember I narrated this last time. And the Protect don't have limited ingredients. In the Protect, you can see something like broccoli. And for them to engineer a super nutrient from broccoli, they will have to now take the nutrient from broccoli from the sprouts, which is also similar to the meristem of the procell. And in broccoli itself, if you go to what you call molecular analysis of broccoli, broccoli itself is very, very important because it contains 1/2/3 endomethylbutane. Ordinarily, any issue that has to do with inflammation, this helps to reduce cellular inflammations. And that is why when I'm taking care of women come around with fibroid or any issue of inflammation, whether in the ovary, PCOS, or ovarian cysts, which all involve inflammation, I always make them to take broccoli. What I am trying to do is for the body to now extract the 1/2/3 endomethane, which is a nutrient God has infused in that particular broccoli that is anti-inflammatory in a cellular level. And 95% of every ailment we are suffering in our society today starts from inflammation, cellular inflammation. And then, if you look at, mute your line so we can be able to flow without distraction. If you look at the role that the procell is playing in our marketing strategy, you will discover that the stem cell can move into a cell that is acidic, the environment is acidic, or there is inflammation. What do you mean that the cells, the neurons, the electrons in that cell, they are big inside and acidic. By the time the stem cell, which is undifferentiated, penetrates that old cell in the heart and wants to now exchange it, the defective side of the cell, or repair it or rejuvenate it, the stem cell will no longer be able to operate because the environment is acidic. Then here comes your protect. Your protect will flow in. As soon as it gets into that cell, there is now an alkaline medium. There is all the necessary cellular energy, all the necessary nutrients that will make the stem cell work very fast. It's just like you want to shave your hair, and then you have the modern shaving clips, and the other person is only managing with the razor blade. The person with a shaving machine will do the job faster, more neater, and without much care. He will just put whatever, if it's number 2, number 3 blade cover, he gets exactly what he wants in a quicker time. While the person with the blade, a razor blade, will be very careful not to cut the individual, and a lot of stress and a lot of use of scissors and comb to get the level of the hair, or if he's clearing the hair. So the protect has much more powerful edge for the efficacy and the performance of the stem cells, the undifferentiated stem cells that has been sent for the repair and rejuvenation. Another thing is, somebody may have received his or her healing, and then the adult stem cells can still get old. The adult stem cell can still receive an impact. Imagine a person who is now driving. You've given the person the procell, and the procell has engineered undifferentiated stem cells, and this undifferentiated stem cell has gone to the heart cells, repair, rejuvenate the heart, and the man is happy and is now very, very happy. And then you have now introduced your protect, the dense nutrients that the heart cells, the adult stem cells in the heart needed. And eventually the man is happily driving, and then here comes an impact. Because the position of your heart is on the left-hand side. So when such impact occurs, intelligent people who are aware will turn their back so that the impact could be on the right-hand side, so that the heart is not impacted. But if the person is not aware, the steering now punches on the heart. The heart experiences a shock. Automatically, the adult stem cells, which was the undifferentiated stem cells that became adult stem cell in order to repair that heart, now, which is the heart adult stem cell, some of them will receive a shock. Some of them may even rupture. Some of them may receive impact that could cause inflammation. If the protect, which is the nutrients already needed for that cardiovascular organs to be functioning, are present, the healing or revival or regeneration of that particular adult stem cells of the heart will be easier than when there is nothing presented to protect. So it is also very important to understand that every organ in the body require different kind of stem cells. Take, for example, if you look at the content of our product, which is the main engine, the stem cell, you will discover practically that the nutrients, the 9 nutrients that is contained in that product, the protect, in the stem cells, they are 9 because they need to work on different areas, organs, and tissues in the body. Why is it that they now they put in ellagen? Because ellagen is needed in the reproductive organs. They are needed for your sexual activity. And in Protect too, other powerful nutrients that will help the ellagen stem cell that is from the meristem are now provided, so that when you need, maybe you have a swollen scrotum or swollen prostate gland, or you have prostate cancer or blockages, this stem cell from the allergen combined with other nutrients like sublamatine, lutein, and other things will be able to work together to give a faster and permanent result. Another thing you must understand is that the stem cell, which we have engineered from our procell, unlike any other stem cell in the body, can renew itself and differentiate into many different kind of cells when it has not become adult stem cell. So a situation occurs where we're talking about the heart, where somebody now is having cardiovascular challenge, or cerebrovascular. Cerebro is the head, cardio is the heart. Let's come back to the heart. If the person now is undergoing stem cell therapy, the continuity and the continuation of the repairs, healing process from the undifferentiated stem cells will be going on very perfectly, very intelligently, without the person having any reason to lose strength or energy. Much more if there is dense nutrients that will help that renewal, self-renewal of the cells to take place. When there is a tissue damage in the cardiovascular level, let's say tissue damaged, a tissue-specific stem cell will get into action, quickly forming into functional replacement for the damaged cells, only when there is enough dense nutrients to help it to work. In short, adult stem cells account for the healthy adult body. I repeat, adult stem cell accounts for the healthy adult body's ability to self-heal and retain its youthful vigor when there is presence of dense nutrients that will help the undifferentiated stem cell that is executing the activity of self-healing or self-replacement is present. The cellular composition or the stem cell composition of a man that is 80 years old is not the same with the stem cell composition, adult stem cell composition, with a young girl that is, or a young man that is 22 years old or 24 years old. Then you now discover that outside the action of the stem cell, the cellular level has gotten its challenges. Number one challenge is oxidative stress. Number two is inflammation. And number three is damage, DNA damage. And when the DNA is damaged, in the case of the man that have received his healing and had an accident impact, and then the steering caused a bang on the chest and it affected the heart, and then maybe there's a DNA damage. When there's a DNA damage, it will result into impaired ability of tissues and organs to repair themselves, even when the undifferentiated stem cells you are engineering through the process is flowing to the heart. For you to be able to deal with these three powerful things, which is constant most of the time, the cellular stress. In fact, without cellular stress and inflammation, there'll be nothing called cancer. And this is an area that medical science, they are not looking at most of the time. Rather, what they do, they pump in, they come with test analysis that are also very detrimental to the cells. They come with MRI, CT scan. At times, some women will even go, they say they want to do mammogram. Those things, those equipments radiates a lot of stress, more oxidative stress, creates acidity that in turn makes the cellular level to get inflamed. And at times it creates DNA damage. I have a case I'm handling as I'm talking to you. The man was on stage 4. I picked him 2 years ago, and eventually his whole body system came back. He went back to work, but a very destructive counseling was given to him. He accepted it. Oh, no matter what you are doing, if you don't go for chemo, you can't be sure that the cells are dead. The cancer cells are dead. I tried to let him know every human being has gotten cancer cells. These are good cells that were under stress, under inflammation, became acidic, and they started running up and down looking for oxygen, looking for a way to survive and contaminate other cells. And that's what we call mastitis. I'm not an oncologist, but I'm called in this field, and I have done the best I could in this field to get to PhD level. And every day I'm updating my knowledge, contacting professors all over the world to learn more, to add to what I've known. And I adapt my understanding to my geography, because that's what we call the geography of disease. Africans are not supposed to suffer anything called cancer. If only we can abandon the junk foods and also try to expose ourselves to the sun. And the easiest way for forefathers were exposing themselves to the sun is by becoming farmers. There is no protect, there is no procell or no stem cell or stem cell protector. That's another name for protect, stem cell protector, that can be prepared or produced without vitamin D. So yourself now, 90% of every one of us that are doing this marketing, I must let you understand that if the aging of the cellular level or adult cellular level gets to a particular point, automatically there will be what we call dysfunctional stem cells. The adult stem cells in the heart can become dysfunctional. That's why it's necessary we eat. All we are trying to do when we're eating very, very, very consciously is want to release the protect nutrient, the nutrient that will protect our body cells. So you're going to meet people that have gotten what you may call stem cell dysfunction. And some of these stem cells dysfunction, that is adult stem cell dysfunction, some of them can now be leveraged to prevent or reverse such dysfunction if we bring in our procell. Because what the old adult stem cell in the body is experiencing is aging. And when there is no nutrient, cellular nutrient, no protect to work on it, to help it keep on going, automatically there could be cellular dysfunction, the adult stem cell cellular dysfunction. And then you can prevent or reverse such dysfunction by throwing in a favorable nutrient, dense nutrients that can now change or alter the genetic expression. The genes now will become happy. Instead of getting angry, weak and tired, they will receive vigor. That is a wonderful thing that God has given us when we talk about protect. We can provide, through protect, we can now provide to the living stem cells substances that exact favorable changes. The epigenetics can be altered. What do I mean? There's a lot of people you meet, they are not very bright, their cognitive ability, their memory is not all that so high because of the kind of thing they have been eating from childhood. Remember when we were in secondary school, I found myself maintaining the first position from class 1, you know, where I'm coming from, we use the word class, not grade. From class 1 to the time we finalize in class 5. And then everybody, they were so worried. In fact, at times, some of the teachers, I was always found myself in class A. Most of the teachers, they at times say, why should you be the one? First time you come first, second time you come first, third time you come first. And then I have a strategy of playing a lot during the day, and all the classmates will play with me. Then at night, I will first of all take my sound sleep, wake up very early in the morning, and then I will start reading and studying, picking the points. They were thinking I happen to be a genius. The same thing happened in the higher school. But in the same school, my juniors that passed through the same school maintained the same record. How then does it mean that all the family, they are geniuses? No. It is a function of the kitchen wisdom. My parents, consciously or unconsciously or traditionally, we were consuming things that were helping the cognitive ability. The food we were eating contains some stem cells. Unconsciously, we didn't know anything about stem cells by then. That was moving into to give the brain cells cognitive strength, memory strength, and what we may call ability to understand perfectly what our lecturers or teachers were giving to us. Hope for multiple sclerosis, hope for stroke, hope from, let me say, neurological problems can be engineered if we can properly apply our process along with the Protect. And it will also give you what you call beneficial epigenetic changes. Maybe next time I will be talking about epigenetics. You can also Google that on your own. Everything that you have in your body can be transmitted. And there could also be people within your own community. They may not be very rich. They may not actually have a lot. Even they may not have the money to sponsor their children in the school. But their children or their family craves for things that helps to supply nutrients to the brain. At the end of the day, you will quickly discover that you will see a boy. Like the time I was doing my PhD, and I majored in the area of regenerative medicine. And then the thesis I was writing happens to be on vibrational medicine. Like some of you do not know, there are ancient things people eat. They eat it because of the vibrational ability, healing ability. During the Biafran War, what my father used to sustain my life, while other children were suffering from kwashiorkor, people suffered to the point that only the intelligence one were able to locate what could help their children. I was feeding on lizard. My parents told me the meat I was eating was lizard. And during my vibrational thesis, it happened to be 450 or 480 pages I submitted. Actually, I submitted to the school, and it happens to be the first thesis of that kind. What I used for my analysis is the lizard. And then when I penetrated by the help of God into the analysis, I discovered that lizard has the highest vibration of all animals and can resurrect any part of your body that is trying to depreciate, which means animal called lizard has a lot of stem cells or Protect inside it. So the ability or the volume of stem cell in this particular little lizard was transferred into my system unconsciously. Maybe it's a miracle of God. And then it epigenetically moved into me. That idea given to my parents when other children are dying of kwashiorkor to go for this. That idea is flowing all over the universe. The same story I'm talking about now, I'm telling you, if you go to Rwanda, if you go to Somalia, you go to Syria, where people had had wars and there was no food, people are also suffering the same effect. You will discover there are survivors in that particular community that may have a similar experience or intuition that my parents got that saved my life. So the prostate brings about what you may call increasing the anti-inflammatory cytokines. I'm going again to big grammar. I've been trying this night to avoid big grammar. There's a level you can take the Procel, and then in combination, the nutrient combination of the protect, it can increase the production of genes that prompt the progenitor cells, the cell-like cells living in the brain tissue, into becoming functional adult neurons. In other words, it helps to create a healthy new brain cells. And these healthy new brain cells can now be transferred to the baby because the sperm has brain cells, they have liver cells, they have the heart cells in it. That's how fructification, that's how pregnancy occurs. You can find yourself reproducing wonderful children because of how you have treated yourselves using the combination of the stem cell. The meristem of the stem cell is what actually produces the stem cell, and the application of the dense nutrient to protect the stem cells and therefore put a go slow or a stop to unnecessary aging, acidity, cellular stress, inflammation, decay, destruction, impairment. And that will bring a lot of large improvement, wonderful changes in the genetic expression. The DNA is ever pumping with energy. The telomere is recharged. Every aspect of the inner level of your body is always getting younger instead of getting older. So with this experience, you discover that when you are taking your procell, generating the undifferentiated stem cell, and they are flowing into to repair, to rejuvenate, to beautify, the volume of aged stem cells in your body will become low. In some cases, you see a man that is 80 years old, according to the calendar of his birth, who is on Procell and Protect. If you take a cell from the man or from any organ of the body, physically they will say, oh, that man is 80 years old. But if you go to the genetic machine to test the cell of that man, you may be discovered in the cellular level, the man is 25 years old. In the calendar of his birth, you are calling him 80 years. The same thing happens. You can go and pick a young boy, maybe a foreigner in this country. For the past 47 days, he has no food to eat and nobody cares about him. And eventually, he depends on daily hawking to survive, maybe with his family. The situation now has become to the point that he's so stressed and so worried and nobody to call on to, that the cellular level has now aged terribly. You can go to such a person. Maybe he has been here, maybe from Zimbabwe, he has been here, let's say for the past 7 years, struggling every day. He managed to even get food for himself and family. You now take that young man stem cell and place it in a genetic machine. You'll be surprised, in the cellular level, the man will be 85 years old. But by calendar, he's still a 25 years old man. Maybe from childhood, there are all the troubles that we have in African nation, all the troubles we've been having in Zimbabwe, he has been passing through thick and thin. Every day is just like, he's just existing. The same also is the situation if you go to deep into some of our locations in this nation. I'm diverting a little so that you can be able to have practical understanding of what the effect of our product is going to be. I remember moving to Mpumalanga. I met a young boy He's not the parents. I think the father is a polygamist. Maybe he's a king and he wants to have many wives. But the intelligent children have been, God was giving the man intelligent children, but none of them is schooling. But here comes a very bright young boy. He asked for my phones. I had 2 phones on my hand. Then I gave him. After analyzing it, he laughed. I said, why are you laughing? He said, if there's any problem in this phone, I will repair it. As I started doubting. In fact, his confidence took my attention. But in the course of our interaction, this young boy of 12 years, I permitted him, he opened the phone and explained to me things in the phone. He did not even know the name. Then a neighbor came around and said, he's the one repairing all their handsets, the cell phones. And then I said, okay, how much do you pay him? He said, he doesn't have value for money. He just do it and laugh. And if you give him anything, he takes. Now, this kind of child is, the destiny of this child is wasting. The own misconception of the parents, neglecting education, is also another factor. This child could grow up now and needed to express his destiny, but there's no money because he's not educated. And at the end of the day, the child will start having terrible cellular stress, neurological stress, and before you know what is happening, the intelligence, the cognitive ability, the memory capacity of this child, they are now subjected to nothing. This child will become a man with the aging stem cells, pregnant his wife, happens now to reproduce children that are very unintelligent because of cellular action, neurological action that have taken place. And every one of us here that are married, whether woman or man, you know that none of us can withstand the news of not having money to pay for your children's school fees. Imagine you have 3 children in the university and the money you expected did not come. What happens? You go into stress, and immediately the stress action starts. It starts from the cellular level. And you may find yourself not even having sleeps. So why am I emphasizing on this? These 2 products in particular, above all other products that we possess in this company, in this network, it's not just only revolutionary. It is a product that can do a lot of work, restorations of many things. When a man gets stressed, forget about whatever you're talking about, your sexual ability. When a woman gets stressed, forget about it. Her behavior automatically will change. Because at the point of stress, there is a hormone, a destructive hormone, we don't need much of it in our body, called adrenaline, that flows to the body. And at the point there's no stress, you are so happy. The cells, the happiness you get start from the cells. You find yourself, the brain releasing a happiness hormone we call cortisol. And so with this, I want to impart to you tonight on a second stage level, the fact that what we are going to achieve through this product is not just only healing. It is sustenance of the healing, beautification of those who have healed, or making them younger, and happiness all over our communities, our generation. And as we pass these particular products, let's try to reach especially those who have suffered a lot. An old woman that is called old because of sufferings from childhood, pressure, getting these 2 products can rejuvenate the old woman to be so beautiful and so renewed, so happy. And it can affect our society marvelously and wonderfully. And when there is a reduction in inflammation, the effect is so wonderful. The nutrients can now flow in and the stem cell function will become so super. And so all the things that create environment for the stem cell to work and for the cells to be protected, the tissues, the organ, and the body system to be protected, above all, for us to get healed and live long, they are all in our Protect. So with this, from me, from here, is thank you. If you have got any question, we can now take the questions.
Oh, wow.
Are we not there? Are we there?
Yes, Dr. Edwin. Yeah, no, this was massive.
If you are there, can I hear you say, I receive it?
We receive it.
I receive it.
I
Confess
receive.
it
I
and agree.
receive
I
well.
receive.
I receive it.
I
Don't make
receive.
this nigga. Go call somebody.
Good
Myself, I
presentation.
receive more. I receive more so I can give more by next week.
Yeah, no, we
I
receive.
receive it.
We receive more.
Thank you.
Okay, all right. Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Edwin. That was very powerful. Every week we are learning quite a lot, and personally, I understand even more about my physical body and how to take care of it. And like today, I learned more about the acidity levels. I've read a few here and there, but you put it in a very simplistic manner, how diseases are formed. So now, ladies and gentlemen, it will be time to take your questions. It could be questions on what the doctor was talking about just now. It could be questions of what you are facing in the market. Please just not all talk at the same time. You need to raise your hand, and after raising your hand, I'm going to unmute you and you talk. All right, so I was saying it could be questions about what the doctor was talking about today, or what you are facing in the market, or what you are personally facing physically. So please, let's raise hands and we start asking or contributing. We've got a lot of leaders here. I saw Leader Matandisi, Leader Ndlovukazi, Leader Sindo. There was also Leader Jimmy. Is he still here? Okay, it seems Jimmy is gone. Okay, Leader Sakile. Okay, you all welcome. Let's start with the questions or contributions. All right, I see a hand there. Just a moment. All right, Sipesihle.
Good evening, leaders, and thank you so much, Dr. Edwin, for a very powerful product presentation. I just want to find out, I have a member who recently joined. She suffers from what we call fit seizures. So I had said to her, I will give her Procel to use. Is there any other product we can recommend, or Procel will be fine?
That's a nice question. Remember that multiple seizures, or what we call epilepsy or epileptic fit, is purely neurological. Procel must always go with Protect. But the first point you must establish before you know what to do, how to apply, is how long has this person been suffering this epileptic fit? Can I have that? Do you have idea?
Yeah, she was born in 93.
How many?
And she said that from as long as she can remember.
How many years now?
She said from as long as she can remember. So say about 26, 27 years now.
She can't say as long as you remember, because the longer she has experienced this epileptic fit, the more damages must have been done in the neurological level. So such an individual needs millions of new cells generated that will be circulating all over, because it's a neurological problem. You have to now look at, are there damages to the nervous system, especially the nerves of the spinal cord. How many times does this particular person experience the epileptic fit in a week? If the person is experiencing the fit once a week or once in 2 weeks, it's different from somebody who is experiencing the epileptic fit maybe 3 or 4 times in a week. When you come to such complex cases, your questions will give you idea. Is in a stem cell application, you don't give prescriptions like orthodox doctors. Hence, the child is on his or her 20s, let's say from 24. The child is an adult. Then you will be able to understand maybe an adult, a cousin, an uncle, the parents, if they are alive. If the thing is from childhood, the application is not just going to say take Protect. No, Protect doesn't have much power without ProCell. The stem cell is the main activating bank. It is the stem cell that will pregnant the bone marrow cells to go into multiplication of undifferentiated stem cells. The Protect only comes in. And then you also remember to check what is it that the child is eating. There are some things that in fact, inflammatory diet that causes inflammation, because already day in, day out, as she passes through that experience of fit, epileptic fit, the neurons of the brain are getting inflamed. There is high level neurological stress. All the whole brain cells are stressed. I remember the first 2 cases, epileptic fit cases I handled. Today, 2 of those men, they are married comfortably. And for the past 5 years, they have not actually had any cause to have any fit or convulsion. So when a case is very complex like that, get the right questions. At times you feel free. We are giving these lectures free. It's only God who is rewarding us. Feel free, spend little airtime. You can call. And we give you the questions to answer, to ask those people. So when you get the question, you will not know. Because if on this condition, you didn't introduce any stem cell, you start with Protect, you are not reaching the cellular level. In fact, the brain cells is an electric. The brain cells are more electric and more powerful. Until the thing is corrected in the brain, the nervous system will remain a victim of the problem. So in a case like that now, you have to introduce ProCell, and don't introduce ProCell economically. Because let's say as long as the lady could remember, let's say she's 25 years. Let's assume that it started at the age of 5. And moreover, you have to also understand, ask the person, how, if it didn't start from childhood, from birth, was the child boxing, especially young boys that are from Eastern Cape? Traditionally, men from Eastern Cape, they like boxing, like Mandela was a boxer. You have to now ask the child, were you a fan of boxing? What happened? Not the lady, were you boxing? Is there any maybe biological accident, or somebody slapped the child when he's young? What happened? If it is a boxing or a fall, then automatically you must know that there is an inflammation somewhere in the brain cells, which needs to be deflamed. There's a damage, there's an acidity. Then you can coordinate with your 2 bombs, your ProCell, and then your Protect. The longer the period, or the older the person, the more you introduce your weapon. In a case with that lady, you can start with 2 ProCells. But if the epileptic fit is on and off, almost every day of the lady's life, she's not sleeping fine, please move in with 3. Immediately, morning, afternoon, and evening, before meal, for ProCell, under the tongue. By the time you throw in a very high level of ProCell and then we have millions of stem cells being activated, you will quickly discover that restoration and the repair of the damaged cells that causes the inflammations and all the neurological stress will just start easing off. But if you just come and you are trying to be too economical about it, you do not present the process, you just throw in the Protect. The person will be looking very healthy and fresh, but the sickness is there because you've not actually done the first thing you are supposed to do. So these are areas inquiries we must make so that we can get the idea of how to apply your product. At the end of the day, as the child is responding, or the lady or the man is responding, you can now reduce in the aspect of the Protect. So I think that should be a good answer to that question. Do you have any other interlude or any other question to ask?
No, thank you, doctor. But can you please allow me to ask again next week when I have the relevant answers to your question?
Yeah, you are free. You can also call on my line. I'll give you the necessary ingredients you need to put in place and the dosage to apply, so that as soon as you are in that treatment, the lady is in the treatment for the first month, they themselves can actually have a proof that will encourage them to continue in the remedy that you are providing for them.
Thank you very much, Dr. Edwin.
Yeah, thank you for thanking me. Another question? It's like a lot of people have started enjoying their bonuses. They are no longer thinking about the training. They are now counting their money. Can we take another question?
It looks like, Doc, yeah.
Yes, because somebody was on the road when we are supposed to be here. So I think I will start coming around to those who are making their money already to ask for some benefits.
Yes, yeah, we must have a plate where people will be putting something.
Unfortunately, they have blocked everywhere, lockdown of everywhere. So there's no more refreshment and enjoyment. Let me have the next question, please.
Okay, we've got Catherine. Catherine, you're welcome.
Thank you. I have put a question on the chat. I don't know if the doctor has seen my question on the chat.
Okay, no, we didn't check it. Please ask.
I have a child who has leukemia. He's 5 years old, and he's been on chemotherapy and radiation for the last 1 year.
Wow.
So, yeah, he's being discharged from hospital tomorrow. So I don't know how or how much Procel and Protect they can be able to take. I would like to be advised by the doctor.
What kind of cancer is that?
Leukemia.
Leukemia.
Yeah.
Yeah, leukemia, cancer of the white blood cells.
Yes.
How often was he being placed on chemotherapy? And what type, do you know the kind of chemotherapy the child was placed on?
I don't know exactly, but I know he has done like almost 8 sessions.
Okay.
And radiation also.
The CT scan and the MRI, how is it like?
I would have to ask because it's from a friend who was asking me that question today.
Okay. Yeah. His case, I'm interested in his case, a beautiful case.
Uh-huh.
If the child has undergone 8 section, automatically every cell of his body needs to be rejuvenated, because if you can Google the side effect of chemotherapy, you discover that chemotherapy is not sensitized in a way that it can identify the chemical that is given him like a drip. When it gets into the body, don't have the ability to, it's not selective. It doesn't have the ability
unless
to.
you or somebody who has studied the Bible
or which case is not cancerous. So it deals with every cells of the body.
Sure.
There's no difference from a slave, even though he's the owner of everything. But he's under guardians and managers until the date set by his father.
Somebody
In
should
the same
give
way,
us
we
this
also
test
were
now.
enslaved to the elementary principles of the world.
Somebody is destroying our recordings.
For this son.
The person should be on mute.
Okay, like I've muted them. Leaders,
Yeah,
let's
you have
remember to mute
that,
ourselves.
that aspect, because if this recording is destroyed, it will confuse some of our customers that may need proper understanding of the product. You know, the training you can also share with a prospect, a person who wants to be your downline and he has a passion. You can share this.
Yes.
So going back to what we're talking about, leukemia is a cancer of the blood-forming tissues, including the bone marrow. And many types exist, such as acute lymphoblastic leukemia, acute myeloid leukemia, and chronic lymphatic leukemia. Many exist. And then this could be genetically passed to the child, or form a kind of deformation as a result of intensive nutrition of the child. The child must have grown eating almost every time junk food. And the cellular level, especially the white blood cells, get affected. Many patients with slow-growing types of leukemia don't have symptoms. And at times, the parents will not know until eventually the child breaks down. And we have rapid-growing types of leukemia that may cause symptoms that include fatigue, weight loss, frequent infections, and easy bleeding and bruising. I didn't know I'm going to have this kind of question, but I'm trying to crack my brain a little. So, in this analysis, this child has taken the maximum level of chemo. The parents should expect a relapse if nothing is done to sustain both the child's blood, the DNA, and as well as the white blood cells. This child will be placed on intensive Procell and Protect administration, total change of nutrients, consumption of food. And at the same time, the child's DNA must be also maintained. The telomere, the child's DNA must be maintained. I'm not permitted by law to start mentioning everything on my head, all the remedies you can use outside these two remedies. So, but I will advise in a case like this, if the parents can afford, locate a professional who could place a very wonderful advice that will help them through our product, the process and this Protect, to gradually rejuvenate and repair all the damaged cells. These are cells that have been destroyed by the chemotherapy, so that the child doesn't collapse, or when there is a relapse, the child doesn't just sleep and die. I have a case, myeloma cancer is a kind of leukemia that I handled for 3 years, and the first year, second year, the person was so wonderfully strong. But destructive counseling, because of people who don't believe in natural medicine, they only talk about chemotherapy, they only talk about radiation. They now brought that counseling, and the person followed the counseling, and the case became worse because chemotherapy kills not just cancer cells, but it destroys every cell in the body. The child is able to survive because it's still a growing child. And the stem cells of the body is still millions. If it's an adult, they will not be able to survive that. So you have to inform the parents they must start active, concentrated therapy on our two major products. It will be 3 of each. Change the water and the diet. The child will not be subjected to eat too much. Little but very sensitive diet. If I were to advise, the child would purely made a pure vegetarian while they place him on vitamin B12 and folic to complement any loss, so that the red blood cells will not come up, while the pro cell will be generating the white blood cells to complement the bone marrow. And then other remedies must come in this time around. I will not hide it. That will be strengthening the bones. And also a remedy that will work on the DNA so that the child will be having sufficient strength. So I believe with this little answer, you should be satisfied and you should know what to do. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Doctor. We've got some questions on the chat. One of them is asking, can a breastfeeding mother take our products?
No, the breastfeeding mother herself is, she is a stem cell bank. The child, whatever the mother takes will reflect on the child. The child she's breastfeeding, even her colostrum, the milk, is loaded with a lot of stem cells and immune promoting nutrients that God himself generates. So if she happens to take a stem cell, the child will experience, will become hyper, because the stem cell in the little baby will become abnormal and you create confusion in the medical palace. The pediatricians will find, maybe they will say she's having COVID-19.
Yeah.
So breastfeeding mothers are not permitted to take stem cell, but they can take Protect because it's a nutrient dense. And if the woman wants to take food that will give a kind of stem cell-like effect, the person can go on sprouts. You can go for mung bean sprouts. You can go for, in fact, when you go to the place that sells sprouts, you select what you want and enjoy the sprout. That's the best you can do. Immediately you now finish your breastfeeding, you give at least a month or after. The lactational processes must have stopped. Then you can move into taking a Procel, but not in a full sachet. You start maybe with 1/4 gradually until your body now becomes young and fresh again for another batch. But if you are still carrying about a lot of milk and you are still having the feeling of the baby, you hold on because you are still a different human being. You are not like us. I think that should be sufficient for that answer, for that question. Another one?
Okay, all right. We've got Ntombi. I don't know. Ntombi, would you like to say your questions? He's got about 3 questions. Hello, Ntombi.
Hello, where do I go?
Yeah, no, just talk.
I'm trying to.
I'm all ears. Go ahead.
Can you hear me? Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, everybody's also quiet towards me, so we're hearing you.
Okay, I've got fewer questions because of my ability. The first question is, I want to know if you have a gum disease, which product can be recommended?
When you talk about gum disease, is it dental or gum? And what, yeah, make it clearer. A gum disease, is it inflammation of the gum or a rotten tooth creating inflammation of the gum or what? Let me get it clearer.
Okay, my nephew, every teeth that goes out is a bit already spoiled, and then yeah, it's like almost now he's losing all his teeth. So, but we just suspected that there must be a gum disease. We suspect that maybe there's mucus in his gums because he does not enjoy any hard things to eat. It's a problem for him.
How old is your niece?
27.
27.
Yeah.
Number one, she must have been a sugar-tongued person. She must have been consuming excessive sugar.
He doesn't like sugar. So.
Yeah?
He doesn't even like sweet things. He doesn't like sweet things generally. He doesn't like.
That is now that the problem has come. Because sugar is the only thing that can cause inflammation. Another thing is parasite. Parasite, there must be parasite just in the gum at the root of the teeth that is causing this problem. First thing to do is identify the cause of this from a dentist, because she can't keep on pulling all the whole whole teeth, or keep on pulling a tooth maybe every time. And then you check for the deficiency of bone building nutrients. Why at times I refer to dentists is because you need to find out the cause. The dentist may need to drain the gum. The dentist may now identify exactly whether it is caused by parasite or is it a genetically passed experience. When you have established what is the cause, then one can be able to handle it. But if the child is chronically lacking calcium, vitamin C, and magnesium, which means it's not just only the teeth, the bones also are weak, because deficiencies of these things will not allow the root canal of the teeth to be strong. So parasite treatment is needed. Extraction of any possible pus that is in the gum is needed. When this must have been done, then you can bring in our Protect and our Procept. In a case like that, you must also go for calcium supplement that has vitamin K, vitamin C, and then magnesium. Magnesium will help for the elasticity of the nutrients, and vitamin C will help for the absorption. So these are the steps to take. Don't just start administering your product. When it has to do with the teeth, first of all, identify. At times, what could be wrong may not be the gum, it could be a tooth decay. And there must be something causing that decay, and then that thing causing the decay must be dealt with. Traditionally, in my place, there is one traditional healer. When you complain of any teeth problem, he will prepare a concoction and ask you to put it in the mouth. By the time you put that concoction, a little quantity in the mouth, and gargle it, it's always very pepperish. He will tell you, hold on. After maybe 20 minutes, by the time you split out, you will see very terrible numbers of tiny worms, the pinworms. And at the end of the day, that brings to the end of that toothache or teeth ache. I advise in this case, please consult the dentist. Identify the cause. The cause will be dealt with. Our Procel and our Protect will automatically, in this case, automatically in the space of a month, the root of the teeth and also the gum will be rejuvenated, repaired, and it will be fast. But if the cause is not identified and eliminated, applying this may cause a temporary restoration of the teeth, but later on, that pathogen or that virus or bacteria that created that decay and action will come up again. So I think if you follow this pattern, we'll be able to throw in your remedy and get results within a space of 21 days. Second question.
Okay, I've got fewer questions. The second one is, my mom is having a partial stroke right now. It hasn't been, the hand she's not stretching it because she says it's painful, but sometimes she does. So which product can we recommend for the?
What you do is just bring in the Procel and the Protect, change her diet, and ensure that she's always, early morning, she goes out to take the sun, and give her some little massage. That is not a hard tissue massage, a very simple massage continuously. And massage of physiotherapy catheter will be needed at least 2 times, morning and evening, and ensure that she's not consuming food that creates blockages.
Okay.
If you place her on 3 Procel, 3 Procel daily, 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, and 1 at night before meal. And immediately she finished taking the Procel, just give only 5 minutes. Give her warm water, not cold water. She will be drinking warm water. Don't allow her to drink cold water.
Okay.
And then by the time she finished eating, you can now do the same with Protect. Within the first 42 days, her systems will change. And it's as soon as the pens in the nervous system cease, always subject her to slight exercise or something she has to be doing that will make her to sweat.
Okay.
Yes. Number 3 question.
Okay, my number 3. I'm developing some excess fat. I'm amputee, so I think my leg is being having it's for 30 years. It's being heavy pressure from my body. So I'm starting to develop some access on my hands here and on my legs. So I was just thinking which maybe products I can use to assist with that, unfortunately.
Okay, you have been experiencing like a pimple in the armpit, something like as abscess.
No.
What is it? Yeah.
When you look at it, it's not an access. It's like access fat. Like it's an access fat. I'm thinking that body for this year. Because even on the joints, you can see it's like
You are not speaking straight to the mic.
the shape of my hands somehow. Hello?
Yeah. Yeah, you need to go for our Pro Detox first. There are toxins in your system. Are you listening?
I'm listening, sir.
Yeah, you start with Pro Detox, and then your liver needs to be cleansed, but how do I advise on that? Okay, you can put your body in an auto detox by taking Pro Detox, especially at night, before you take your meal, or when you have eaten your meal, you give 2 hours, then you can take your Pro Detox. Place yourself on hydrotherapy. You drink only water till it is the time you're hungry. Don't just eat when you're not hungry. And when you can, especially being a mother, you're always busy. When you can, on a weekend, when you are free, place yourself on 2 days fasting. You can do fruit fast, or you can also do water fast. At times, if you are able, you can do, total fast with water.
Okay.
You will discover that the body will be in an auto-cleansing process while you are taking your Pro Detox. If you can do that in a space of 7 good days, the whole problem will stop, and then you can now gradually introduce your Protect, and then your Procel. Then what you are trying to do is rejuvenate your whole system and ensure that you are exercising. It's very important. Avoid meat and the fatty foods.
I don't eat meat.
That's good. Then avoid excessive carbohydrates and fatty foods and sugary things. Just moderate your nutrition. You will discover with what I've just enumerated, you'll find yourself bouncing back, looking younger and free from every toxin.
Okay.
I think you have finished your question, or do you have another one?
Yeah, for joints then, because age has caught some of us. The joints, the back, how can we assist with that? Which ones will be recommended?
I want to cancel that confession. Me, I'm getting younger every day with my Procel and Procet. So age is very far. So I think I've already planned to live 120 years here now with this Protect and Procel. Okay, the joint pains basically are caused as a result of what is happening in your kidney.
Okay.
Are
Okay.
you with
So
me?
should I?
Are
Honestly,
you with me?
I
Let
don't.
me just answer. The joint pains you're
Hmm.
experiencing is caused by what is happening in the kidney as a result of the wrong things you are eating. So the kidney is pushing out a lot of uric acid, and the uric acid is not being eliminated. They cause a lot of inflammation, and they start destroying the cartilages and also the end of the bone, the joints. So you have to, number one, remove everything that has to do with uric acid. Uric, you get it in green beans and other things. Just Google and ask yourself, what are the things that you eat that generates uric acid in the joints?
Mm, mm.
You can also personally call on me so I can tell you what you can just take in a space of 3 days. Every uric acid will be out from your joints. And then
Okay.
you can bring in your, you can now bring in your Procel and Protect just to say welcome to the new cells, and then you get yourself jogging back again.
Okay.
You have another question?
No, I think all my questions. I'm the only person who had so many questions. Thank you.
No, it's so many. It's because you are very intelligent. You are the most intelligent person this night.
Oh, I've got my.
Intelligent people ask a lot of questions. Those of us who are not very intelligent, we only ask few questions. I'm joking. Can we have another question?
Okay, I'll just read one more here from the chat, and then we go to Tapiwa. And Mrs. K hand was up, she disappeared. I don't know if she's answered. The question is from Lita Matandis. It says, Doctor, clarify on the Protect, it says facilitates a healthy pregnancy. Does this mean a pregnant woman can use Protect? That's the question.
Yes. If you observe my pattern of teaching, I don't move into what the manufacturers have written concerning what it does. I try to teach on the chemistry of Protect or the product. That is what we call product knowledge.
Yeah.
Now, these Protect functions or benefits listed here, they are the benefits you get after consuming Protect. A pregnant woman prepares for pregnancy. You know, a lot of people, it's only in Africa, a lot of people don't prepare for pregnancy. At times when you ask them, how come you've just had a baby 6 months ago? Say, it's accident. You now ask them, where did the accident occur? Which highway? So the truth is, if you are taking Protect prior to becoming pregnant, it is the content that defines the container. It is what is in you that is expressed when you are pregnant. There's a lot of women immediately become pregnant, their legs are swollen, they become ugly, their neck is like their elephant. It's because they did not have enough nutrients needed by the body. So the baby will start taking whatever the baby can afford from them. So their body system now starts collapsing and they start having all these particular effects. So when a woman has now taken it, automatically from the time of zygofication, that's the time of fructification, stem cells are being generated. That is one of the wonders and mysteries. And the stem cell the baby is generating is so powerful that the baby stem cell even heals the mother of any infirmity at all, including madness. I said that last week. You want to get a woman who is matured, normal to treat her madness. Find a lover that will pregnant her or her husband to pregnant her. She will become very normal. She will breastfeed a child, bathe the child, take care of a child. Myself, I've tried as much as possible to take care of my baby, but I get to a point, I don't know what to do. I have to call my wife. And I'm not even mad. Imagine a mad woman being able to handle her baby to the point that she gives aggressive defense. If you dare go there, to pick the baby when she's alert. She will handle you very well. That shows her cognitive abilities returns back. So a pregnant woman don't need it. Rather, you need our product, both the Procept, Pro-Lady, while you are not yet pregnant. And those of us who want to experiment the power of this our product should start doing what you call pregnancy preparation. Tell your husband to do what we call conservation of sperm while taking it. The issue of every night you are on the go post should stop. Give yourself some time. The woman, eat, take the Procel, build up yourself, do exercise, be flexible. Then, when two of you decide to stage the World Cup and score the goal, you move about. There's no pregnancy is not a disease. It's a blessing. I think you are happy to have this answer. Extended reply.
Okay, I think I missed a little bit now. Does it mean that when the person is already pregnant, can they use the Protect, or they just have to use it during preparation?
During preparation, immediately a woman is pregnant, she is already loaded with stem cells. So she is not allowed to take anything. The highest thing she could be administered by the gyno is folic acid, vitamin C, and iron, especially in the first trimester. She has to get to even the 7th month. And if there is any deficiency or problem or challenge, she is not allowed to bring in any remedy except by a professional who has carried out a test and be able to ensure that whatever she is going to ingest is not going to affect the brain of the child or create any deformity in the child. That's why pregnant women are not allowed to take anything. Their medicine remains food. So take your Protect and your Procel, especially prior to pregnancy.
Okay, all right.
That's the best advice.
Yeah, thank you very much, Doc. Let's go to Tapiwa. You are unmuted.
Good evening, guys.
Evening, ma.
Okay, I have a question. My sister was diagnosed with a disease called Stiffman syndrome in 2013. What happens is that the body overproduces white blood cells, so they don't know where to go to. What they do is they attack her central nervous system, you see. So she's on medication. She's been on medication ever since then. If she doesn't take her medication, she can't move. Her legs are just numb, and then she gets spasms and back pains and everything. So she relies on medication. She takes her medication 3 times a day. So I was wondering, will the Procel help improve her immune system? Because her immune system is very low because of that. And she's also HIV positive.
Okay, this is a very complex case because actually our Procel activates more of the white blood cells. So if you bring in the Procel, she may have crisis. Within the limit of my ignorance of what she's passing through, the Procel can now come in depending on the capacity of the remedy that she's taking or the medication that she's taking.
Okay.
And what makes it now worse is she's also, her immunity is compromised. Is she also taking her ARVs along with the medications?
Yes.
Okay, I think what I can prescribe for now is not Procel. What I can prescribe for now is for you to introduce Procel first and then watch her response. Don't remove any of her remedies.
Okay.
And then report back to me after she must have taken the Procel at least for 3 days. Monitor and check the changes she will experience. If she happens to have crisis, let me know. If there's no crisis, let me know. Then we will see a way to introduce Procel and watch her reactions.
That is 3 consecutive days.
Huh?
That is 3 consecutive days, every day, once every day.
Yes. on the protect first, because excessive production of the white blood cells means there will be attack, like an autoimmune case.
Yes.
Yeah, so in an autoimmune case, you don't activate stem cells because that will create a lot of battle. But you can start with ProCell, and then after 3 days, you feed me back. If we need to introduce ProCell, then there's a style we use so that we won't get the multiplication of the white blood cells too excessive to create another crisis. And then how to get her immune system up is also a different strategy. How long has she been on her ARV?
5 months now.
5 months. Oh, it's still young.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, because the ARV, when taken more than 7 months, automatically compromises the natural immune system. We can also, there's a way I can also activate the immune system so that the natural immune system will be functioning along with the buffering effect of the ARV tablet. And then from there, we can now be able to create a kind of stable condition and gradually see a way to remove the remedies. She's sleeping very fine, confirm?
No, when she started, she was having insomnia for about 2 months straight. She couldn't sleep day or night.
Yeah, I understand. Because of the excessive white blood cells, it will be like she's always awake. Okay,
Yes.
call me off the program. I will be able to advise some few things we'll do. Because if she is not sleeping, the healing process will not happen. Healing takes place while we sleep.
Okay.
Yes. Any other question?
Yes. She also suffers from iron, but lack of iron.
Huh?
Her iron. She suffers from lack of iron as well.
Okay, she's iron intolerant.
Yes.
Okay, still call me so that I don't go into a diagnosis contrary to our product. Call me. I will dynamize chlorophyll. There's a kind of chlorophyll I will dynamize, and then that we can now use a cellular just-up process to get across boost in her blood system without having any crisis. But is she on a blood tablet? Did they give her blood tablet, B complex and folic and all that?
Yes, but she barely takes it. She's on some ferroglobin, something B12. Yes.
Yeah, she should be. They must place on B12 and then with folic, because folic will help for the absorption. But the more she takes the B12, there's still less red blood cell production. Confirm?
Yes.
Okay, there's a way we do it. It's outside the terrain of our network program. You can put across, maybe tomorrow we'll be able to guide you so that we can be able to give her enough life extension. And then the prostate, please remember, I need to check how our body reacts to it. Then before we now know whether we can increase it, the protect, we can now increase it and then join it with some nutrition.
So we put her on Protect first instead of ProCell.
No ProCell, please, for now. Only Protect. After 3 days, you let us know. Hence, it has a multiplication of white blood cells so that we don't create an autoimmune, a battle in the cellular level. Any other question?
No, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you for questioning me very hard. Tonight is bombastic questions, hard questions.
Yeah, okay. Is there anyone with any other question? If there are no questions, I'll ask someone to thank the doctor for the wonderful sharing always of powerful information. And this information is always kept hidden as if they want us to fall sick or to die. So this is the only place where you can get it on Wednesday evening between 7 and 9. It's now after 9. Leader Matandisi, are you there? Where is Tandi? She disappeared. Okay, who else is here? Ndovgazi?
Good evening,
Hello.
everyone.
Evening.
Dr. Edwin, thank you very much for your powerful session that you just shared with us. We are learning a lot every Wednesday, and all your passion and all the hard work you put into researching before you come and train us does not go unnoticed. We are very, very appreciative of everything that you do for us. Your selflessness, may God continue to bless you, to enlarge your territory, and to give you increase in your business, in your private life, and in all aspects of your life. Thank you very much. We are growing. We really, really appreciate you, and we hold you in high esteem. May you keep on keeping on. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I receive. May you be blessed too.
Thank you, Doctor.
All right, so thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, leaders. Have a good night. The audio will follow.
Okay, thank you, host Leader Bright. God bless.
Thank you, bye.
Yeah, Leader Brown, remember me in your kingdom. Thank you, everyone. From me,
we will definitely remember you, Dr. Edwin. Don't worry.
Thank you too. Thank you too, Dr. Edwin.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.